The Mystery of the Ancient Temple, Part 2. The investigation was gaining momentum, bringing to light new details of the criminal network hidden behind the facade of peaceful village life. Alice, despite Samir's pleas for her to leave Rampur for her safety, stayed. She felt responsible for the case she had started, for the 4 nameless victims whose faces now constantly stood before her eyes. Her reports, initially met with skepticism in Western media, became a sensation after the police confirmed the discovery of the artifacts. The world learned with horror about the plundering of Indian cultural heritage and the criminals' bloody methods. Inspector Vikram Singh, the same elderly policeman whose initial skepticism had vanished before Alice's evidence, proved to be surprisingly persistent and principled. He assembled a team of trustworthy officers and launched a large-scale operation. Rampur village found itself in the spotlight, which many local residents, accustomed to quiet and peace, didn't like. The fear of unknown forces, which they believed guarded the temple, was still strong. Alice spent her days talking to locals, trying to gather more information. Samir, now her constant translator and a kind of bodyguard, helped her navigate the complex world of rural customs and superstitions. They learned that the temple had an ancient history linked to a local tribe and was once considered a sacred place where not only relics but also secrets were kept. Over time, the temple fell into disrepair, its true purpose forgotten, and rumors of a curse became a convenient cover for illegal activities. One evening, sitting under the starry sky on the veranda of the modest guest house where Alice was staying, Samir told her an old legend. According to it, the temple was guarded not by the god Kali, but by the spirit of an ancient warrior who had sworn to protect his people's treasures. This spirit could punish those who desecrated the holy place. Alice listened, trying to separate the grain of rationality from the mysticism. Was it possible that the disappearances of people were connected not only to smugglers, but also to some ancient rituals or beliefs? The next day, their work led them to an old gardener who lived on the outskirts of the village. At first, he was afraid to speak, but seeing Alice's persistence and Samir's intercession, he revealed that several years ago, he had seen unknown cars approaching the temple at night. He also mentioned a strange man in dark clothes who often appeared in the village, asking about old artifacts. His description matched the accounts of other residents. It seemed the smugglers had been operating in this region for a long time and had their informants there. Inspector Singh, upon receiving this information, focused his efforts on tracking local connections. Soon, the police found traces of several local antique dealers and criminal elements who might have been involved in the case. A series of raids were conducted, during which some of the stolen artifacts were seized, but the main organizers could not be found. Alice felt like they were going in circles. They needed a key link, someone who knew the whole truth. And that person, she was sure, was directly connected to the temple. She began to re-examine her photographs of the temple, trying to find something she might have missed earlier. Her gaze stopped on one of the shots of the wall near the altar. Among the scratched symbols, she noticed a barely visible drawing, a stylized image of a snake coiling around a sword. This symbol was unlike traditional Hindu iconography. She showed the photo to Samir. He frowned, examining the image. "I've seen something similar before, madam. An old man from our village. He told me about a secret brotherhood that once guarded these lands. Their symbol was a snake and a sword." Alice felt her heart pound. Samir's legend could be the key. Perhaps someone from the descendants of this brotherhood still existed and was involved in what was happening in the temple, or could know its secrets. Together with Samir, they set out to find the old man Samir had mentioned. They found him on the outskirts of the village, in a small hut surrounded by flowering bushes. The old man, named Venkat, was initially reluctant to talk, but upon learning about the investigation and seeing the photo of the symbol, his face became serious. Venkat confirmed the legend of the secret brotherhood, Naga Kshatriya, serpent warriors, who once guarded the temple and its treasures. He said that knowledge of their rituals and secret passages had been passed down from generation to generation, but over time, most of it was lost. However, he said, there is still an old woman living in the village who might know more. She is a direct descendant of the last leader of the Naga Kshatriya. Alice felt a ray of hope. Perhaps this old woman could shed light on the temple's mysteries and help find those who were using it for their criminal purposes. The search for this woman became their next goal, and Alice felt she was finally getting closer to solving the curse of the ancient temple. Would you like to know what happens next during the search for this old woman? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video.